Good morning, everybody. I'm on early so I can have time to share myself in. Bear with me just a moment. Let me see if I can do that. So if you're new to my page, just know that you can I'm Margie, the Crafty Heifer, and I am part of an event today. And I'm trying to get Facebook to work with me, but it may not, y'all. So far, no dice. Let's just see. Okay, let me try it this way. All right, let me share it into the group. This is why we come on early, because, all right, I should be shared in. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Natalie. I see some coming on. Let's see if I missed anybody else. I am a part of the group Southern Twang and Things. I'm one of the admin over there. And today we're having a really good event. It's called Falling into Creativity. So we have a full lineup this morning. And of course, I'm the early bird on at 8 o'clock. So I came on just a couple minutes early to give myself time to share in. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you for being here. We have a awesome lineup today. After me is Miss Tammy with Rustic Notions. I always get her name wrong. Rustic Notion DIY. And so y'all stay tuned through the day. If you don't have other plans, we would love to have you over on Southern Twang and Things. If you're not a member of the group, make sure you join, like, and share us out. Y'all, we are a new group. We're just barely over 1,000 followers over there. So the admin is myself, the Crafty Heifer, Sam with Graham's Rustic Farmhouse, and Kimberly from Kimby's Collection. So we make up the trio of Southern Twang and Things. But the ladies in our group are the real stars. They are just phenomenal. As most of you know, some of you guys are part of groups yourself, so you know what I'm talking about. We just have so much fun. And as I like to say, if you're new to my page, just come on in. Say hello, let me know where you're watching, and just make yourself at home, because we don't have strangers here. Everybody's family. And today, I got about 1 minute before my start time. Make sure I got everybody in before we get going. Today we're going to do something, of course, fall, because that is our theme, falling in creativity. And I love doing fake bakes, so I'm doing yet another pie. Today we're going to do a pumpkin pie. And we're going to practice a couple of different things. So I'm going to put this where you guys can see. I was hoping to work with this one today, but it's not dry. So I'm going to work with a different one that doesn't have the crust yet. It's going to hinder me a little bit, but that's okay. This is very heavy, first of all, and it's plaster of Paris. So I did this 2 days ago. And depending on the humidity in your areas, whether or not your plaster of Paris dries super fast. Mine is not dry, and the reason I know it is because when I touch it, it's really cold in the center. It's not on the edges, so it's completely dry on the edges, but the center is still wet. And that's because when I made it, got a little piece of trash in there. When I made it 2 days ago, once it dried, I didn't like it. It wasn't deep enough. So, buenas noches, Lydia. And my Spanish is really, really bad. And so is my enunciation, y'all. I'm Southern. I can't say nothing hardly. But anyway, when I came back to the pie, it was really too shallow. So I poured it a second time to get it higher up, because it was just too shallow. But I'm going to show you a couple of things. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this one, and I'm going to try to show you how, see, this is what I was trying to say. So see how it's got the ridges in it? So a lot of times when I used to work with plaster of Paris, they're always, it's self-leveling. So you can't get this unless you do something to achieve it. So today I'm going to show y'all how I did that. And I'm going to start with my plaster and just another pan. This is going to be, watching from Georgia. I have lots of friends in Georgia. And I love Georgia too. It's a beautiful spot. There's so much of this. I mean, there's not really a spot I don't think is beautiful in this world, you know. I keep a huge bin of plaster of Paris over in my craft stash, and I really don't measure it, y'all. I'm a terrible, terrible person to follow as far as rules. I keep a big thing of water when I'm working with it. I put a little bit of water in my pan because if you don't, it's like it gets stuck at the bottom and it's all dry. I do not measure mine. Plaster of Paris does have a measurement of 1 to 1. Like every 1 cup, you use 1 cup of water. But I don't ever measure mine. I just kind of eyeball it, and I'm a terrible, like I said, I'm terrible. Don't listen to me, do you? But I just don't, I'm just not that kind of crafter. I just always beat my own drum. And so I put 2 big helpings of the plaster in there, and I know that ain't going to go very far. So let me pour a little bit more water, and a lot more water, really. Because plaster, it's so weird to me. It's definitely a science experiment. When you're working with plaster of Paris, it'll look like you can put your whole pan full. Like I could fill this up, and you think, gosh, I can't even fit no water in there. Oh, yes, you can, because you start pouring water, it just absorbs it, and it's almost like it disappears. I don't understand that science, but I know it does it. I haven't tried to really figure that out because I'm not a science nerd. But I keep adding, and of course that's definitely not enough. And the reason I'm doing this with y'all, we're not going to work with this pie, but I want to show y'all kind of how easy it is to get your ridges. Some of you may already know this, and I just discovered it this year, because last year all my pies had like flat tops. Good morning, Ronnie. Thank you for all the sprinkles. Good. I put my phone on do not disturb, but phone calls still come through for some reason. So I'm sorry if I have an interruption there. That's my hubby calling. He's working today, and I left him a note on the table downstairs, but of course he's not home to read it. Oh, I hope it didn't interrupt too much. I'm so sorry. Good morning, Miss Eliza. I was missing some coming in. I think I got everybody. Sarah, good morning. Y'all were up earlier. Y'all early birds like me? I'm definitely an early bird. I've been up since before 6 o'clock this morning. And I'm just keep mixing, y'all. I'm almost to where I want it. And it's really more like a watery cake batter, or, what's the word? Not cake. Pancake. It's like a watery pancake batter. Because I do make it a little bit watery compared to pancakes. And watch, I'm just going to pour it in. I don't think this is enough, but I'm going to pour it just so you can see. Nope, definitely not enough. You see how much I made. And this is one reason I don't work a lot with plaster for my pies. Like last year, I don't think I did many at all. Because shipping on these are kind of pricey. Because the weight of them. The sheer weight of a pumpkin pie that you use plaster of Paris is kind of heavy. So I don't do it a lot for that purpose. Because sometimes people don't want to pay extra shipping, you know. Some people shipping turns them off from purchases. But just so I can show you what how we do this. Good morning, Angie. Ronnie says she's an early bird too. Oh, I normally get up around 6 or 6:30. My alarm is set for 6, but a lot of times I'm up before that just because I wake up. And a lot of times I wake up at 6 to work in my craft room before I go to work during the weekday because I'm just so busy trying to catch up. But this is kind of loud when I do this, but when you take, and I'm not going to finish filling this up because I just wanted to show y'all how I do this. But when you're working with plaster of Paris, you don't want to just pour it and leave it. You want to do this several times and, you know, drop it from high. You see it splashing up. And the reason is it gets bubbles in it. So if you don't do that, you're going to have like big old air pocket bubbles in yours. And I'll show you, this is one that's dry. So see on the edges over here, I don't know if y'all can see it. Really close to the edge. There's little teeny tiny bubbles in the very edge of that one. But that doesn't bother me because we're going to cover all that up. Good morning, Amy. Welcome in, everybody. If you're not familiar with my page, please consider giving me a like and a follow. Thank you for all the shares in advance. And for all the newbies over on the Southern Twangin' Thing page. Thank you guys so much. We reached our goal this past week of 1,000, so that was wonderful. Adriana, thank you for being here. I think I said your name right. I can't see all the way over there hardly, but I think that's right. And I'm going to start with that. But this starts setting up immediately. So in about 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm going to leave it on my desk just so I can come back to this, y'all. In about 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to put, let me get that off my desk. We're going to put our ridges in it. But it has to set up a little bit so I can do this. So, and I'm trying to read comments. Good morning, Angie. Did I miss Angie coming in? Good morning, Angie. Thank you, Ronnie, for greeting everybody, because sometimes those comments go by so fast I don't even see them. So now that we have that, I'm just going to sit it aside. Let me grab my stick again, because I'll need that. I'm using the same stick when I go back in and give it some texture. Let me lay that out of my way. All right. So we're going to work with this one now, and I'm going to show you the color I like to use. This is called Spiced Pumpkin. It's by Art Deco. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Brenda. Thank you guys for being here. Some over here on my iPad, I'm not even seeing comments, so I'm having to look way over there at my phone. If I miss y'all coming in, I'm so sorry. I've got a couple of these. Let's see if this one has any in it. So I'm just going to pour... Oh, that was easy. Okay, let's just do the next one. I love this Spiced Pumpkin color. But, y'all, look how bright it is. Even though it's Spiced Pumpkin, it's a little bright for me. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our milk chocolate. This is also by Art Deco, but it don't really matter which brand you use. And I'm going to put some, I'm going to show y'all. That's probably 4 or 5 drops. And it does take quite a bit for me to tone it down to where I like it. Let me grab a brush out of my water bath here. I'm thankful, Kim, that you don't care, because, girlfriend, I miss people all the time, but we don't get hung up on stuff like that. Good morning, Margarita. Good morning, Miss Peggy from Canada. I don't get hung up on things like that, but some people, I don't want anybody to think I'm ignoring them on purpose. Okay, that's definitely not enough of my brown, so I'm going to go back and add more brown. I know when I first started making these, I thought, gosh, that's a lot of brown, but I never, you have to put quite a bit in to achieve that look. And that one's empty too. Here. And I'm going to use this one. It's the same color basically, because I've used it twice with these pumpkin pies too. Good morning, Miss Samantha. I'm so glad to see all of you guys up and at 'em this morning, because sometimes us early birds, when I go on early, I'm afraid there's nobody going to be up to watch. Those late night crafters, I'm just not a late nighter, y'all. Okay, that's getting there, but if I ever want to double check it, I just put it on there and I test it. So I can see that's still too bright for me. I'm going to add a little bit more of the brown. So I wish I could tell y'all I have a recipe for this, but I do not. I just keep adding it till I like the color. And since that is a personal preference, you do you, you know. But I do add quite a bit of the brown. Let's see. And that's getting there too. Let's spread it. And another thing too, when you dry this, it's going to darken. We're going to go with that. May still need to be a little darker, but we're going to go with that just for time's sake. Let's see, I missed somebody. Good morning, Julie. I think I saw you earlier, Sarah. Thank you for being here too. We got a lot of people in our event today that are really, really talented. So y'all make sure you stay on the train and follow us all, the great crafters today. I'm not being too careful with this on the edges because we're going to cover up the edges. They're not really going to be seen. And when you're working with plaster of Paris, y'all, it is very thirsty. Especially the first layer of paint you put on there is very, very, very thirsty. It'll soak it right up. And I normally do go in and put at least 2 coats of paint. Good Good morning, Miss Sandy. If you don't do the tapping with your pan like I showed you, you will have a lot, and I mean a lot of air bubbles. If your concoction, your plaster of Paris is thick, you'll have even more. If you make it too real watery, it won't have as many, but it'll take longer to dry. And I do buy plaster of Paris in a huge bag at my local hardware store. We don't have a Home Depot, but we have a Lowe's, and they sell it by, I want to say it's like a 30 or 40 pound bag. I bought mine last year. I'm still using it, so it goes a long way. I'm sure I'm going to have to do another layer on this, but it does look yummy, don't it, Natalie? So I'm going to show y'all because you'll see how quick this dries and how it changes colors a little bit. It dries a lot darker than it actually is. Let me lay my brush there. Okay, Miss Carol, I understand. Saturdays are my errand days too, so I totally get it. Yes, it is plaster Paris, and it is very heavy. That's what I was saying earlier. When you sell your items, I try to think about shipping when I make items like this, because I know that sometimes the weight of it makes the shipping more expensive, and some people don't want to pay that much for shipping. And also, plaster of Paris can be broken a lot easier than like clay can. So if you're shipping and you don't package it well, it's very easy for it to get crumbly. And for those reasons, I don't use a lot of plaster. I don't use a lot of plaster of Paris in my items for that purpose. Let's see if our pie here is ready to show you how to do the little, okay, because I don't want this going too far. No, it still needs it. See, I was going to show you how I get my ridges, but it's still not set up enough. See, it's just, when I do those ridges, it kind of self-levels. So we need to give this another couple minutes so I can do that. But I don't want to forget, because that's how I achieve this look here. Because, you know, when you make a pumpkin pie, y'all, it don't look flat. You have to kind of get that stuff in. I make pumpkin cheesecakes, and even my pumpkin cheesecakes, the stuff is thick. You have to spread it in there. It has texture to it. So I really like food that look, or fake bakes that look very, very realistic. So I try to think of what it actually looks like and add imperfections in it. Now, if you don't care, then just skip this step. So this time around, I'm gonna put another coat, and I'm putting it really thick. And I'm being really cautious to make sure I'm not missed any spots, because while I was drying it, I saw a spot over here that had a white little area. It was in one of my dips and valleys. So I'm making sure this time that I don't have anything left unpainted, because this will probably be my last coat. I got a lot of paint on my brush. I'm not worried about strokes because you won't notice them with all this texture. So I'm just loading my brush up and adding it in. Okay. Now, let me just look, and I like to take it and look from all my angles and make sure I'm not missing a spot, or it doesn't look wonky somewhere, you know? So, because I'm going to add, what is it called? Crust to this. Not really concerned, but I am going to go ahead and paint the inside of it like this. Just in case my crust doesn't come all the way down, you're not going to notice it as much. Not really trying to give it full coverage or anything like that. I'm just trying to give it a coat of paint so it's not as noticeable. if I miss a spot with my crust. That way it'll just look like part of my pie. Now while this paint is still wet, I'm going to come in with my cinnamon and give it a little bit of a cinnamon dusting. I don't want to put that there. Let me lay it over here on my way. I'll end up with paint all over myself, y'all. I am terrible for getting paint on me. And I'm going to do this with my hand so I can control the amount of cinnamon. Instead of using my shaker, it'll just be everywhere. I'm just going to come in with a little dust in here and there. That way it looks more natural. And when it dries, it'll have a little bit of a cinnamon dust on it. And for you guys who are very, very new to fake bacon, I know every now and then we find somebody who has no idea what fake bacon is. So I try to remember that when we're talking about it. I do not use any real food when I'm making food, fake food, except for cinnamon. Now, when I say that, there's always rules that I break, okay? So stick with me over time. You'll learn what those rules are. But for today's sake, the reason we can use cinnamon is because it is pest resistant and bugs, it repels them. It doesn't attract them. Like if you were using sugar, for instance, you would have ants and all kind of pests that would be attracted to it, but this will not. So cinnamon is actually a repellent. Good morning, Miss Patty. I don't think I saw you come in. Good morning, Miss Nancy. So this is how we're going to achieve that. Now let's dry it a little bit and you'll see that it darkens as we go. Don't let me get my time away from me, y'all. Hope I'm not missing any comments, any questions. I know Miss Ronnie's out there. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for being my helper today because she's such a good helper in addressing those folks coming in. Hey, Miss Shari. Good morning, sweet lady. Thank you, Kim. I love things that look ultra realistic. Let's check on our progress on our other pie again, because when that plaster starts setting up, it sets up really fast. So let's see. Yeah, I'm getting a little texture now. And it's harder at the edges. See, your water is going to congregate at the edges. So you're going to have to come back over time and give it a little bit of texture as you want it. And the more texture you want, you know, just do more of it. Let it dry a little bit more. And see, if that's enough for you, let it sit. And it'll dry that way. But I'll probably keep coming back. Like, I really, really texturized this one. And I think it looks so real, don't y'all? So that's the look I'm going for. And honestly, if I were following the actual instructions of plaster of Paris and using the 1-to-1 ratio, it would set up faster probably. But I make mine a little bit more watery. But I don't really care, y'all. I'm never going to be that crafter that's a rules follower. I make my own rules as I go. And I measure only if I have to. So that's just kind of how I roll. And I know that drives some people crazy because they're very, very anal about, you know, the exact amount. But that's never going to be me. I accepted a long, long time ago. Good morning, Jen. She says she still has crunchies in her eye. That's all right. We can't see them. Jen will be part of our event today. So will Miss Ronnie. I don't think I saw any more of our ladies on here, but we got a great lineup because, oh Lordy, y'all, there's one of my hair in there. Okay, I got it. We got a hair in the pie. That's terrible, ain't it? Woo. This one we won't worry about. We won't throw this one out. But see how much that darken up as I dry it? Look at that, y'all. That's what I'm saying. This color gets darker as it dries. So just keep that in mind if you're making your own color. It will darken a little bit. I miss Miss Lisa coming in. Good morning, Miss Lisa. Okay, I'm going to stop with that. And then the good thing about, if you get it too dark, you can come back over it. If you still hate it and it's too light, you can coffee grunge it. So if you've got your orange on there and it's just not dark enough, come back with your coffee grunge and it's fine, y'all. There's no too much of anything or too little of anything. It's all figure outable, as I like to say. And I was sitting on my clay. Now, this clay is really, really hard because I tried to pre-condition it a little bit a while ago before I came live. But this clay is some left over from my in-person class I did the other day. And somebody, one of the ladies had left it out quite a while. You know how clay will dry. If y'all aren't familiar with clay, this is air dry clay. And this is Love Flutter's Creation. This is who I like to use for my white clay. And I do use bows sometimes. But honestly, see how that broke really easily? That's how you know it really, really needs to, yeah, Crafted Freedom will also be on later. Thank you, Ronnie. See how it breaks so fast and snaps like that? That's how you know it's just not ready. Let's see, sitting on your clay. Yes, that's right, Kim. It's pliable. I sit it under the tush and it warms it right up. And I don't have to seal the bag, you know, because when you're working, I know I'm usually working in my craft room solo. And when I'm working, I don't have time to seal the bag and keep opening it back up, you know. So I just kind of tuck it under the caboose back there and it seals it because there ain't nothing coming out that, you know, there ain't no air coming out when you sit on it. But see, it's still a little bit hard to, but see, it's getting better. We want it to be more pliable. I don't want it snapping so easy. I could have just got a new bag. I feel like I'm missing some comments, but it'll be all right. So I'm about to get it where I want it. And I'm going to do the pie this morning. Or the crust this morning. A simple crust. That way we can all move to the next step. Sometimes I like doing really, really beautiful decorative crust. But, and I'm going to do some of that with y'all today. I got to watch the time. I'm trying not to let time roll away from me. And for you guys who are crafters and work with air dry clay, Shari said this is making her hungry. I don't eat breakfast, so it doesn't affect me. I drink my breakfast, y'all. I drink my breakfast. And I don't eat lunch. My lunch when I'm working is at 1 o'clock. So I'm a late luncher. And sometimes I'll grab something like a pack of cashews or something around 10 o'clock, but I don't eat early. But shoot, what was I saying? Oh, I'm a terrible roller. I'm a very, very bad roller. So if you are an air dry clay artist and you see me, you're like, girl, friend cannot roll. I'm terrible. So I make sure this kind of goes around and it's not quite there yet. See, I'm a little bit short. So I'm going to keep pushing it out a little bit with the palm of my hands and making sure you're not using your fingers, because if you use your fingers to do it, it'll be wavy. And although we don't mind wavy, we want good wavy. Magically Rustic Design. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. If you are new, please let me know you're new and where you're watching from. And please make sure you guys are following along with Southern Twang today, because we have a whole group of women coming on. And they are also very talented. I'm so excited to see what they're coming up with. So the way I normally do it is once I get mine, I connect them. And then I just take them and I roll it where it's connected. And then I push it in a little bit because I want it to be thicker there, because sometimes it thins it out. So I just push it in and roll it some more. Like I said, I don't know how other people do everything, because I do my own ways of doing my crafting. I'm trying to read comments, y'all. Some of them are longer than others. Julie says her doctor is being here. Oh, I'm so sorry, Julie. Prayers for Julie, y'all. She is not feeling well today. We totally understand, Julie. I'm so sorry you're having a hard time today. So now that I've got it all the way around, y'all, I'm just taking and I'm mashing it in. Now, on the inside of my pan, So sorry, y'all, if it's interrupting. I have call coming in, even though I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why it's doing that. So I take my clay and I'm pushing it down on the inside and leaving the bulk of it at the top. Okay, I'm almost around. And then, now you notice I didn't glue this down. I rarely glue mine down like that. The reason is because I don't want it to where I can't move it if I need to. And once I get my pie down, a lot of times I don't even glue my crust in place. I know that sounds terrible. And some of you guys are very adamant about making sure you've got everything in place like that. But like this pie crust, I did not glue. It's not moving anywhere. But a lot of times if I'm going to ship it or I'm selling it, I'll turn it over and around the edge, I'll put a bead of super glue all the way around. That way it's going to hold on. But for the most part, I rarely do that because my clay just kind of stays. Now that I've got that in place, I'm going to take a paintbrush. I'm just going to go around it. Press it down enough to give it some grooves, but not enough to hit the pan. And that does take a little bit of practice because it can, like some of mine do touch the pan, and if it does, it's really not a big deal, y'all. But you do need to press it down enough to make a good indentation because this puffs back up. As it dries, it puffs back up. Let's check our progress on our pan here. All right, now see how that's staying in there? This is the stage where you want to make your grooves. See how it's doing? This is how we want to groove our pie. So when your plaster is setting up, just take your pie and do as many grooves as deep as you want. See, I'm taking the side of mine and making my grooves kind of deep, and then I'm going to go back and I flatten it back. This is what I was kind of waiting for so I could show you guys how we groove so it looks more realistic. And see, I don't know, I'm going to hold it where you guys can see the texture on it now. So plaster of Paris is never going to give you that texture just pouring it in and letting it dry. I'm so sorry you're experiencing storms. I know some of our sister crafters are too. Some of my friends, we've been kind of talking about it throughout the night. A lot of places are experiencing storms, and I'm so sorry. Y'all be praying for our folks out in the storm path. Y'all be safe. So we're getting right back to our pie here, and I'm going to finish up with this, just pressing it down. And this is just a simple technique to give you that ridges. Now, there's so many types of pie crust you can do. I really like the pinch and push, but my fingernails always end up in the way and making it too something, I don't know. And foam dry clay, I don't like the texture of it sometimes. If you're using Model Magic, you can get by with a little bit more of it, I think, than you can this. All right, so we're going to leave it just like that. See? Now, we're not through yet because here comes the fun part. This is my fun part, y'all. I love doing this. I love doing it with y'all because some of you guys who have never made pies. Good morning, Jen. I didn't get to finish your craft last night because, girlfriend, I'm an early bird. Looks like you early too, but I am not a late nighter. All right, so I poured a little bit of my instant coffee in. Cheapo instant coffee. Do not waste your money on the good stuff. Just pour you some instant coffee in and a little Mod Podge. And when I say a little, I don't know. There you go. And then quite a bit more water. So I got my water here. Let's put some water in there. And again, I'm not measuring. Some guys have that recipe down pat. I do kind of use a recipe. But let's see. Jen says her eyes are barely open. I totally get it. So I mix all that around, and at this point, I've got some scents I can put in. Like over here, I have a pumpkin spice. You can add a little pumpkin spice in there. I did that on the last pie. And honestly, I couldn't really smell it. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. So you can actually, I can smell it more than I thought. So last night I couldn't smell it, but now I can. So let's add just a smidge in there. I think I put 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to say 3. I put 3, whatever we're going to call that. And now we're going to, let me get a big brush because I want to use a big brush. This goes fast. And we're going to test our color. Let's see if it's the right color. Oh yeah, there we go. So we're going to just go in and start coffee polishing our crust. Now, I'm liberal with that because I don't mind if it drips in there. Now, some of you guys care about that kind of thing. You'll see I don't care about a lot of stuff when it comes to crafting. We're just having fun. Now, just be careful. Like, I just touched the orange paint, and I pulled a little bit of orange paint into my brush. Let me wipe it off a little bit. I do care about that because when you're working with paint, it takes a while for it to cure. So even if it's completely dry and you touch it, it'll activate that paint. Paint takes a little while to cure, you know, especially, and it doesn't matter if it is chalk paint, acrylic paint. It just takes a while. It takes a while to cure. Am I missing any comments? Let's see. Okay, good. Now, I normally like mine a lot darker than this, so I'll definitely darken it up. Let's go ahead and do a little bit darker because I like my crust dark. So just keep adding your coffee in there and it'll darken it up. You can add it as dark or as light as you want. I'll probably just go back and do 2 coats too. 2 or even 3 coats. And I'm fixing to show y'all I am part of an event today, so I have to use leaves because our event title is Falling into Creativity. So I know some of you, especially you guys that are on, it's like, where's her leaves at? Ronnie's kind of probably thinking, Sarah, Miss Lisa, you guys are like, where's her leaves? Because she's got to use them. Well, we fixing to. And I made some last night. And we're going to use as decorations on this pie. I also kind of like it when it puddles in a little bit. Thank you for the sprinkles, you guys. I like it when it puddles in because it'll be darker in those spots. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So don't forget to go underneath your crust when mine is done. And I'm not worried about it so much right now. But when mine is done, I'll turn my pie totally upside down and make sure I've covered every single white spot. Because we don't want any of our crust to still be white. You want to make sure you've covered it all. And you see this clay is drinking in the coffee polish. Super easy. Let's see a few white spots there. I don't want to touch my orange paint. So see how it looks so realistic? Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Ronnie's such a good helper today with all the gatekeeping because, y'all, when you get on, it's kind of hard to see all the comments coming through. I should have pinned my hair up, too. I'm going to have paint all in my hair today. All right. So, there went my coffee pod. It turned over. Let me get a towel. No worries, y'all. Yeah, it went under my mat, too. Thankfully, it wasn't a lot, but enough to make a mess. All right. So, I have my leaves here that I made out of foam clay. And these are so easy to make. If you guys do not have any molds it's good. I treat myself every now and then because these are pricey. I know not everybody can afford them, but I've had this one for years, and that's the one I use. This is by Redesign with Prima, and I use this leaf right here. And I just pressed my clay in and made that, but this one also had some real pretty leaves. I started to use this one, but I felt like the leaves were a little too big. So for this portion, we're going to use our coffee podge. Uh-oh, crud muddy. Where'd I put my brush? I'd already dumped it in that water bath. Okay, let's get a whole new one because I don't want orange in my leaves. So I'm going to do the same treatment on the leaves that I did on the clay. And we're going to place those on our pie. Now, I wanted to make enough to go all the way around the edges, but I didn't have the time, y'all. And honestly, this pan is so deep that it would have made this pie like 500 pounds to fill it with. So I thought, well, I'm just going to put a couple in it. Now, I did make a whole cupful because I'm definitely going to do that with some pies this year. I'm going to make enough leaves to go all the way around it because I love that. I did one like that last year. I didn't keep it long. It sold really, really quickly, but it's a lot of work to make that kind of stuff, you know? So I'm going to make it with just using 2, probably 3. I kind of like to layer them. Let's see. And if some of your coffee gets on your pie, don't worry, y'all, because it's going to dry and it's just going to give it more texture. I don't ever sweat the small stuff like that. As you see, I craft with all my hands. Like, I'm a messy, messy crafter. I'm going to do the back, too, just because I don't want any of the white peeking out if I don't have it glued down all the way. And when you're working with the plaster, you need to make sure it is dry before you start painting it. If you don't, I'll tell you why. I learned the hard way. If you're working with plaster of Paris, where am I on time, Ronnie? I got 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. If you're working with plaster of Paris and you start painting it before it is dry, what'll happen is, or what happened to me is my paint peeled off. Because plaster has a lot of water in it. It has to dry completely. And if it's not dry, the paint doesn't fully adhere. It just sits on top. And when my project dried, the paint just popped right off. I had to go in and put a second coat on it. When I put the second coat, the first coat peeled off. So I was able to salvage it because I put pecans on it. But if you don't, just take the extra time. Like, that's why I didn't work with this one. And I wish the lighting was better so y'all could see. But this is the one I was working on before, and I was wanting to make with y'all tonight, or today. If I could have used this one, we'd have put the leaves all the way around it because the clay is dry. See, I don't want to put it on this one because this clay's not dry. But when I see, I can look at this and tell, like, right there, the color changes. I don't know if y'all can tell, but the center of this plaster is still wet. It is a different color, and it's also cold to the touch, where the outside is not. So if you put your hand in it and it's cold, it's not dry. It's still like got too much moisture in it. That's how I kind of determined when I came in this morning. I'm like, oh gosh, that's definitely not dry. So we didn't use that. Thank you, Ronnie. Yes, up next is Miss Tammy with Rustic Notions. Thank you. And I think Ronnie also put in our link. If you're not following Southern Twang and Things, she put the link in there. You can actually go follow us, and we greatly appreciate it. So now that I have that, I'm going to just layer these. Let me turn it so y'all can see it a little bit better. I'm trying to decide, do I want to layer it in the center or do I want to off-center it? Because I can off-center it like that. And I have a tag I want to do. So I can't put everything on it until it's all dried. But let's see. I've got my tag here. I'm going to put the tag. And I also, I punched these out of some paper. So if you buy the paper at Hobby Lobby, they have these little books that are seasonal. Like this one was $4.99. But each season they go on sale. It has all kinds of papers in it. Now, this is a Christmas one, but I felt like these could be used for fall as well. So you can buy you a punch and have custom tags of anything you want. I'm trying to see those comments as they're going, but they're going really, really fast. So let's see. I think I'm going to put it in the center. I do like the center, y'all. I think I'm going to put it in the center. Yeah, I really like the center better. See? It's really, really pretty. Now, the question is, do you feel like we should put a dollop of Cool Whip? And I think we should. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's put a dollop of Cool Whip in the center. And then we can put our leaves in that. So this is just spackle that I've added paint to. And the color paint I always add to my off-white spackle is toasted marshmallow. So I added toasted marshmallow paint, and this is just regular DAP spackle, lightweight spackle. So I keep it, y'all, I'm going to tell you something. If you're using spackle and you hate using it because it dries out, I will keep my spackle in a bag like this for, I've got some over there that I put last year and I used it last night. It works just perfectly. Double bag it. Take your piping bag, make your stuff in it, and put it in one of these bags. When you get it to the top, twist it and clip it. It will never dry out. I literally have some that's been made for 8 months and I'm still using it. So I'm going to start in the center and I'm just going to make a little dollop. Give it a little texture and pull it up. Stick this back in my back. Oh, there went my chair. My chair just went down. My chair deflated. Now, I'm going to seal it back up because I don't want to have it to dry out. And I seal it and clip it. That way it won't ever dry out. Now, I do that because I'm lazy when it comes to my crafting. I do not like to redo things over. If I have to make spackle every time I need it, then I'm not going to use it. You know, if I had to make spackle to do this today, I wouldn't have ever put the dollop on there. So now that I've got my little dollop, I'm going to place my leaves in there. I think I could have made my dollop bigger because you can't even see it. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Hold up. Hold up. Now, let's see. Do I want an acorn? Nope. Do I want a pumpkin? Maybe. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to do it that way. And that'll give me that look. See, I'll have to wait till everything dries and I'll put my pumpkin on top. See how that looks? Okay, so I've got 15 minutes, y'all. Let's make a tag. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to darken my crust up too. But let's make a tag. So this tag will go as my price tag probably when I put it in my booth. And it'll go for a cute tag. So let's see. Do we like this one or this one better? Thank you, Jen. So which tag do you guys like the best? I'm not really sure. Let's see. I kind of like the pine cone. Yeah, let's go with the pine cone one. And let's rough it up a little bit because... Oh, no. Hold up, y'all. Oh, hold up. Hold, please. I knocked my little thingy here off the desk a while ago. I saw something fall, but I didn't know what it was. So this is just so bright that we're going to rough it up just a little bit with some Distress Oxide. And this is called Gathered Twigs. It's one of my favorite ones, but... We're just giving it a dirty, grungy look so it's not quite as bright and it'll look less Christmassy too because this is out of the Christmas book, you know. But I felt like it was fine for fall too. See? And I'm also going to do the back. Okay. So we're going to give it a tag. And I can't put all this on here until it dries, but we can certainly have it ready. And let's also make a bow. Because why not, right? Oh, my nose is so itchy. Again, coming up after me. Hey, Andrea. Good morning, my friend. Coming up after me is Miss Tammy with Rustic Notion DIY. So she will be right after me. Y'all don't forget to stay on our little event today and catch all the awesome crafters because we have such a good lineup. I'm just ripping the fabric so it doesn't look like it's got the real nice edge. We want it to be really, really rough. And I'm just going to make a simple bow. Let's see how we want to do this. So the bow makes it look a little bit more country kind of, I think, but I kind of like that. I don't mind it. Now, also, I'm going to add a little bit of lace in mine. This is a piece of a dress that I had. Somebody gave me from a wedding. And it was just a lace dress that her kids had worn in the wedding. And I love the lace so much, I just cut it up and use it in strips. And I always use it in all kind of things. So that's what we're using. If you're wondering, if you have an outfit that you really like, but it's worn out, but the fabric's still really pretty, y'all don't forget to just incorporate it in your crafting. It doesn't have to be craft supplies to craft with it. I think we've proven that time after time, haven't we, y'all? I mean, we craft with everything these days. All right. You know, the one thing I still haven't done, I still have not made anything out of those Tide bins and stuff. People are making different pumpkins and stuff like that, which I make my own laundry detergent. I keep saying that. I don't have any Tide bins to use, but if I did, I probably would do that. Waste not, want not. Awesome. Yes, that is so true. And I try really hard not to be a waster. But I wanted to have a bow because, y'all, sometimes you need a bow depending on what you're using it with. And I think that always elevates it if it's the right, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need a bow and sometimes you don't. Let me make this a little bit smaller. It's kind of hard to put on here because everything's still wet. And I'm not loving this bow. Let's see, do I want it on the outside? Nope. And I think my tag is a little big. Let's do this. Let's cut this tag down some. Because it's just too big for my liking. I'm eyeballing it, which is not a good thing because I cannot cut a straight line. Ah, cute. There. See, made it a little bit smaller because I don't want it to take up my pie. I want it to be something you can see it, but not be too overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I think that when I get it done, I'm going to place the bow somewhere. But see, you've got your bow there. I really think I probably won't even use the bow because I love the pie so much. Let's show it without it again. But let me also show you our leaves, what I was saying. And I'm running out of time. I don't want to start something else because, you know, we got too many people coming on today for me to extend my time. But here's my leaves. If you wanted to do that and you go all the way around, you could certainly do that. I'm going to show you the look. And one thing I also like doing when I do that is alternate them. Like you could do this. Instead of turning them all in the same direction, turn them facing each other, which is really pretty too. The only reason I didn't do it is because this pie is not dry. This is what I had wanted to do this morning because it would give us a whole bunch of leaves. And that is our theme, is falling into creativity. But don't be scared, y'all, to just come out of the box and do something, you know? To see how that would look. Of course, it's not coffee podge, so it's hard to tell how pretty it would be. But if you did not want to have a crust like this, just doing a very, very simple crust that's flat all the way across, you can move your leaves all the way up on top, which is how I did it the last time. When I made a pie like that, I just put a very, very simple layer of clay, and I only done that so it would stick. So I put a very thin layer of clay as a flat surface, and I put my layer of leaves on top of it like that. And then it's very, very decorative, so it's really pretty. You could do it and use it with lattice. I put lattice on top and then laid the leaves on top of the lattice as well. I think that was really, really pretty. If you do a lattice pie and you just take a couple of your leaves and strategically place them, kind of like this on top of your lattice, it's so pretty. But anyway, I'm almost out of time, y'all. Y'all have any questions about anything we did today? I don't want to get started on something else because of Miss Tammy coming on. Now, I've got to share her in because she's up after me. So, again, for you guys who are just coming in or did not hear me in the beginning, I am part of the event with Southern Twang and Things today. And our event title is Falling into Creativity. All the ladies will be using leaves in some way, shape, or form. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of them. Nobody ever creates the same thing. Somebody's going to probably make some really awesome crafts today. But up after me is Miss Tammy with Rustic Notions DIY. And I've got to make sure I find her because, y'all, I'm sharing her in. The other ladies, our other admin, are tied up to this morning. So they are unable to share. So I've got to go make sure I find her. So have you guys got questions? Did I overlook anything? Rustic. I'm trying to pull her up. Thank you for y'all being patient with me today. There's Miss Tammy, Rustic Notions. And my, I may have to get off and find her because my iPad is doing its crazy thing. Good morning, Miss Barbara. You're not late. We're just fixing to finish up though. Miss Tammy at Rustic Notions is coming up right after me. So make sure you go find her and make sure you're following along with today's creativity because we have an awesome, awesome lineup, y'all. It is going to be an amazing day. The group page, Miss Carol, is called Southern Twang, Twang, and Thangs, Thangs. So it is pinned at the top of my description for this this live. You'll find it there. And I'm pretty sure if you scroll up, Ronnie also shared it in the feed today. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I hope you start to feel better too. Thank you for all the sprinkles. Y'all, I love you bunches. And Facebook has been really wonky in the last few days where we just are struggling with certain things. So I really do appreciate y'all being able to sprinkle us out and to support us the way you do. Because it is tough out here. It's a dog-eat-dog world, especially when you're working against Facebook because, you know, they have their own agenda and it don't always line up with what we're doing. So it is very, very much appreciated when you share, when you sprinkle. Thank you again, Ronnie. There's the yes, I have done the crust first and then poured the plaster. That's what this one is. See, you'll notice there that the crust is underneath the plaster. And this is the one we were going to work on today, but it's still not dry, so we just didn't. Yeah. You can do it both ways. I feel like I like it both ways depending on what I'm working on. But you do have to be cautious, like with this one. I have to go in and make sure the inside that pie looks right. So it is easier to do your crust first. But I always, if I do that, I allow my crust to dry completely before pouring my plaster. But that's just my preference. A lot of times, I do things in stages. So I may do 3 or 4 of the pies. And sometimes I'll do my plaster like this one. And then I'll come back and put my crust on it and pour more plaster over it. Which is exactly what I did with this one, because I pour the plaster to give it the depth. Then I come in with the crust and then I poured more plaster on top. No, you do not have to do that. But if you do, it's fine. I do see Miss Tammy is live over here, so I'm going to share her into the group really quickly. And I want to take the time to say thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, let me know you're new. Follow along today with all the ladies. Miss Tammy is up now. Please run on over there, and I'm going to come on off since she's on and I've shared her in. Let her know you're in. You're in, lady. And that way she'll know to go ahead. She can start early. Yes, you can pour plaster over plaster. I do it all the time because it'll dry and I'm like, it's not really high enough. So I'll pour it again. You can do the same thing with your resin. If you pour resin and you don't like the height of it when it dries, just add more on it. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't follow rules, so I kind of make them. I'm not saying what other people do, but I do it. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies, I'm going to let y'all go. Miss Tammy is over here, and I see her doing her thing. So y'all make sure you run on over there and follow along today with all the sweet crafters we have. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much. Bye, everybody.